Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. Defining discipline is a lifestyle, a mentality, and a brand. And within this podcast, we're going to focus on self improvement as you follow along with me on my journey. We'll also hear from special guests of all walks of life on this podcast and their remarkable journeys that led them to where they are today. Today is day 233 of my journey. At the beginning of the year, I challenged myself to run 365 days in a row, all outside, bearing the elements, whatever they may bring. I also challenged myself to run 1,500 miles within this time frame. Now, this is my second year ever running. Within the first full year of running, at the age of 31, I was able to run 1,002 miles. I did that within 175 days out of the year. So, me going for 1,500 miles this year is over a 50% increase in the amount of miles as opposed to last year. Me going for 365 days this year is over a 100% increase in the amount of days I'll be running as opposed to last year. Not to mention this year, these are days all in a row with no days off. Also within this time frame, I've challenged myself to run two big races. The bigger of the race, I actually finished. The bigger race out of the races, I actually finished on June 5th, 2021. It was a 50K trail race, the Yankee Springs 50K trail race in Middleville, Michigan. Got that done on day 156 of my journey. I was able to finish it within 7 hours, 15 minutes, and 22 seconds. So I am officially an ultra marathoner. Really excited about that. But the other race I actually have coming up here within this year to finish this year out is going to be the Detroit Free Press Marathon. That is coming up here in October. And I plan to run the Motor City Challenge of that race, which entails me to run the competitive 1 mile and the competitive 5K the day before the actual marathon. Like I said, that is coming up in October and really looking forward to that race. So let's kind of get into actually today, mileage and all that. So for the day today, day 233, went out there and ran a nice big trail with my buddy Nick. Both put in 17.9 miles. I think it actually came up on mine. 17.8 miles for the day on this trail. The Potawatomi, I don't know really how to pronounce it, so I'm going to just call it Potawatomi Trail out in Pinckney, Michigan. It is just a pretty much 18-mile loop, so we're just short of 18 miles. So like I said, we put in 17.8 for the day. That put me at 30.8 for the week, which put me at 84.4 miles for the month, which puts me at 1,087.2 miles for the year. Let's focus in on these monthly miles. Every single month, I challenge myself to do a 100-mile challenge. And I do that challenge in honor of a fundraiser in a charity in which I start a fundraiser I donate money to and start a fundraiser in order to try to raise money and awareness for that charity. So for the first 7 months of the year, we were able to raise money for 7 great charities. Now I'm sitting here and we are sitting here in the 8th month, the month of August, and I am raising money yet again for another great charity. The 100-mile monthly challenge for August is in honor of the National Psoriasis Foundation. I chose this charity this month because 1, the month of August is Psoriasis Awareness Month, and 2, psoriasis is something that I have dealt with for a majority of my life. So I'd like to try to raise money to kind of try to study it and understand why it does what it does, because it is an autoimmune disease and we still are not really sure what causes them. So I thought that would be a good charity for the month of August. So if you would actually like to donate to this month's charity, you can find the link to do so on the Defining Discipline Instagram or the Defining Discipline Facebook story, or my personal page's Instagram or Facebook story. Within those stories, you will find the link. You just click on the story. It'll open up the page on Facebook where you're able to make your donations. All donations that get made to this fundraiser will be going directly to this fundraiser and charity. Facebook is not taking any portion of your donations. I do know times are tough, though. Not everyone is able to afford to donate right now or to this cause or charity at all, maybe. And if that is the case, the next best thing that can be done is just clicking that share button. Because like I said, we're trying to raise awareness for this cause. And the best way to do that is to try to raise awareness for it. Sorry about that. I had to click something off my screen. So we're trying to raise awareness for this cause this month, and if you just click that share button, it gets put out on your page, and we get as many eyes on it as possible, and that is kind of the ultimate goal on top of raising money, but trying to raise awareness for these causes and throughout each month. And the best way to do that is get as many eyes on it possible. So it's very, very well and very, very well appreciated and great if you donate, and it's also well appreciated and great if you just click that share button. Either one helps out tremendously, guys, and helps out more than you guys truly know or may believe. So other than that, we can kind of get ready to get into today's episode. Before that, though, we will talk about the word of the day. Every single day I have been doing a word of the day in honor of trying to expand my vocabulary and just become a better speaker, and on top of a better speaker, just like I said, expanding my vocabulary, become smarter. And in order to do that, you have to continue to challenge yourself. And I decided I will do that by trying to learn a new word every single day. I've also been trying to read, but I have not been able to really stay on a good streak with that, just because of the amount of hours, the lack of hours, free hours I have on top of working and getting my runs in, the episodes, and trying to keep the house and the yard in order on my free time. I do not have much time to really read, though I do still have a little bit of free time where I watch TV or podcast, and I might be able to really shift that out and cut that out even more, and to be able to try to even just get 10 minutes in. Maybe that will be better than the 30-minute challenge I had originally of trying to read 30 minutes a day. But let's just get into the word of the day real quick so we can get right into today's episode 233. So for the word of the day today, it is sophistry. Sophistry refers to reasoning or arguments that sound correct but which are actually false. That is actually a good word of the day, sophistry, because I think a lot of us are making a lot of sophrosophy, reasoning, and arguments with a lot of the things that are going on nowadays. But that is today's word of the day. So that's actually a cool word. Doing a little screen grab it. Now we can kind of get into today's actual episode 233. So yesterday's theme was set, and it was to try to get set and set yourself up by making daily goals and stuff. But it also, the very front end of that episode was about just trying to get all my stuff set for today, because today I was going to be putting in a big trail run with my buddy Nick. So for that reason, today's episode 233, today's episode's theme is going to be lesson. For a couple reasons, but we're going to break down first why. So today was a big lesson, especially for me. I ran a 31-mile race earlier this year. Took a lot from that race, but still I learned a lot more lessons today. A lot of fueling lessons, a lot of just carrying too much stuff lessons on these trails. Like there was a lot of things I took from today's trail run, because today's trail run in my head did not go as well as I planned it to be. I was thinking maybe we finished in 3 hours, 20 minutes. We had actually pushed 4 hours. It got to the point where we're just walking, because my whole right side of my body started to really bother me from the hip down. Started in my hip, which shouldn't shoot like a nerve pain down the back side of my hip and leg until it hit the knee, and towards the knee was kind of in the front part of the leg. Just having real bad pain. And even Nick himself learned a few lessons. He actually did a really good job today. He was crushing it. He could have definitely outran me. He kept up with me. He didn't keep up with me. I couldn't keep up with him. He held up for me a lot. But he himself learned a lot of lessons. Like one, it was something I should have told him. I didn't even really think about it. Didn't cross my mind. But he wore really short ankle socks, and the back of his ankles were bleeding like profusely, really bad, just from the shoes rubbing against the back of his ankles for 17, almost 18 miles. So it is definitely some lessons to be learned, and you learn these lessons. What if we didn't go out there and put in the work today, we would have never learned the lessons. So the key and the moral of the lessons is you learn lessons kind of like trial by fire. You learn it by going out there and just throwing yourself into a situation, and while you're in the situation, you're like, wow, I really wish I didn't do this, or wow, I should have done this instead of this. And we had many revelations today out there on the trail. Like I said, I ran the 31-mile race earlier this year, 7 hours, 15 minutes, 22 seconds. I don't really know I didn't really compare the two paces of if I was running today faster. I highly doubt I was. But I just felt like even what I kind of learned from the last race and what I was kind of missing out on, I still kind of didn't want to believe it, and I put it to the test again today. I think my problem, especially today, it was a little bit different. I know when I'm actually doing races again, I think I'm going to really cut back on the amount of gear I am carrying. I might really try to cut it back, keep it to just a couple water bottles, really short, because I noticed the more I wear the vest and the more stuff I carry, that definitely adds up over time. I was carrying 2 18-ounces bottles of water here. I was carrying 2 12 ounces on my hips, so 24, 18, and 18, 36 plus 24, 40, 50. So I'm carrying like 50 ounces of water. Doesn't seem like too much water and stuff like that, especially since I'm drinking it here and there. But on top of that, carrying a tripod, my camera, my keys, which I needed my keys obviously, but I had my running belt, which has some mace attached to it. It was carrying mace in the woods, not really a bad thing, because who knows, if an animal comes up, it might be a good thing to have mace. Not that there's many animals in Michigan woods that will attack you, but the rare case, maybe a dog's off a leash or something, might not have been bad to have that. But there was just a lot of things that I'm thinking like, wow, I didn't really need to carry this today. I didn't really need to have all this extra weight. And one thing I really found out with, one lesson I really learned, especially with that vest, is that when you carry just the slightest bit of weight in it, it really loosens up on me. And it starts bouncing, boom, boom, boom. And that is when it gets really bad. When I can keep it tight and it keeps close to me, it's not too bad. But it's right when you start moving and start picking up the speed, it'll start slowly loosening on me, and that was something that I truly had another problem with. Another huge lesson I have taken out of today, and I realized it kind of last night. I've been really putting it off, and it's something, in the back of my mind, I tell myself, I'm going to do it, or, I don't really need it. Maybe right now I'll do it eventually, but that is stretching. I really, truly need to start stretching. Last night, I realized I was actually kind of having a little bit of nerve, like shooting down my back. Even on these smaller runs throughout this week. I try to put it off in the back of my mind and just say it'll be fine. This big run will be fine. I'll be able to make it through. I did a 31-mile race earlier this year. I can make it through the 17-miler, 18-miler, and so I kind of just put it off. But I remember last night before laying down, I really decided, my hip is kind of bothering on my right side. I think I'm going to try to stretch it out. And I did a little bit of stretching, and oh man, the pain, but it was a good pain. It was like when you really hit that spot and you realize that's what's tight, and you start stretching it, and it kind of hurts to stretch it, but then when you get out, it feels so much better. It's like I was hitting that spot on the back of my hip, and it just felt really great. And I was like, wow, I probably truly need to just start putting a lot of time into trying to stretch. Maybe not a lot, but just more time than I've been, because a lot of these times I'm not stretching. 98% of the time I'm not stretching before I run. I'm not even stretching when I get back. I'm trying to focus on maybe getting enough protein in me for recovery, which my recovery has been truly off as well. That is something else that I've kind of taken a lesson in from these past few weeks. I've talked about it before, but last week I was only able to put 15 miles in. I think that's the least amount of miles I put in all year. I just got done putting in 200 miles in the month of July. There was like 4 weeks in a row when I put in 45 miles every single week. And then like the first 4 days of that, I was able to put in 30 miles or whatever it was I needed to hit that 200 miles altogether. But it was like going from 45 miles a week, and then I'm barely able to push 15 right there was another big enough lesson to be like, okay, maybe stretching is something I really need to implement in, because putting in all these miles, I've just really tightened my body up. And it's not just stretching, like I said, it was a lot of rest, because through putting in all those miles, I didn't get much sleep towards the end of the month of July, and it kind of carried over into August, because August, my work schedule was still kind of hectic as it was towards the end of July. It was just lots of hours, not much free time after work, but getting the run in and getting the episode in, I would realize after getting back, getting everything uploaded, it's like midnight by the time I'm going to bed, and I'd have to get up at like 5:30. I'm only getting like 5.5 hours of sleep, and not even good sleep. I was waking up throughout the night, tossing and turning, looking at the data on my rings and stuff, thinking, okay, clearly I'm not getting enough sleep, I'm not getting enough rest, I'm not recovering right. And it truly caught up. It really, I could feel it last week in that 15 miler, and even this week. I started the week off with a 6.2, I think just over a 10K. I think I started off with the week, and then it was kind of like from there all downhill. 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, because then I knew I was going to do this big run today, but at the same time it is truly hard, and it's hard on me. And taking the lesson of these past 2 weeks and seeing that, wow, after almost a month full of only 5 hours of sleep a night, it has definitely caught up to me. I noticed even just throughout the day, just being like feeling just drained, not even realizing it. Like, wow, I just feel like beat right now, and I don't even know why. I've been putting in less miles. I've been trying to rest up, but really it's like I need to sleep and recover very well. And that is another lesson I have taken out of today and just out of these past weeks. So again, I wanted to talk about lessons and lesson, just because you learn these lessons, and technically life is just a big lesson. It throws you all these things at you, and you can take what you take from it. You can take it as just ignoring it and thinking whatever life is throwing at you, or whatever is happening is purpose. There's no meaning to it. There's no purpose to it. It's purposeless and meaningless. It's just happening, and that's just how life is. Or you can take it kind of with a grain of salt and be like, okay, this is happening to me. Why? What can I learn from it? How can I beat it next time this happens again? Because a lot of the things will continue to happen over and over again. Maybe there'll be a little bit different, a little bit of variation within what happens. But if you don't learn from your lessons of the past, or your lessons of the present of what you're just learned, going through today, today was the present. And as I'm going through it, I'm like, all right, next time I know what I'm not doing. So there's many lessons to be learned. And again, the best way to do it is to put yourself out there in situations. And when you're out there in these situations, to not let those situations get the best of you. Because there's been plenty of times, even I myself have been out there putting myself into situations, and things go to crap, and instead of learning from it, I just chalk it up to whatever, bad day or whatever, and I don't really try to analyze, well, maybe I did something wrong, maybe there's something I can change to do something better. And it wasn't until I've tried to take every day as a lesson and a learning experience, that's when a lot of things kind of started working for me and changing for me within my own life. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, was just getting out there and learning these lessons of trail running and just learning daily lessons of life. And today was a great day to get out there with my buddy. We had a great conversation. Wasn't even thinking I should have actually had interviewed him, and I do probably plan to interview him. We'll get more runs in within the year, so I will get a good interview with him. Maybe we'll do one actually just out there while running on a trail. That'd be kind of cool. But we'll see how that goes. But really looking forward to putting these lessons I have learned to a test on our next trail run, and just again taking every single day as a learning lesson, because there's always something we can learn about ourselves and about what we're doing and how to improve that every single day. Everything, you can either think, like I said, everything is purposeless and there's no meaning to anything, or you could think that everything has a purpose and everything you do has a meaning, and learning from those things you do, what's wrong with the things you do and how you can improve on it, is a good way to truly live. I think everything does have a purpose and have a meaning, and we can learn how to really become the best versions of ourselves by trying to learn from these daily lessons. So for that, today, episode 233, Your Daily Discipline, is going to be exactly that, to really learn from these lessons that are happening to you. What can you take away from today? What can you take away from what happened today, how you treated your day from when you woke up to when you're getting ready for bed? What do you approve of? What didn't make you happy? What made you happy? What would make you happier? What could you change about that? What didn't make you happy? That would improve it to make you happy, and not necessarily. We don't always have to be chasing happiness. I don't mean happy is always in like just trying to not face hard times and always just look for instant gratification. That is not what I mean by happy. What things can you do to really improve your life? I mean happy by long-term happiness, by just making you appreciate and work towards something that maybe you've been putting off. So what kind of lessons can you take from today that when you go into tomorrow, you can really start applying them to live a better life tomorrow and set forth every single day, since that is your daily discipline for the day today, episode 233. Other than that, guys, I want to thank you so much for following along and listening. It's been a long journey. Like I said, there's some lessons I've learned, and one of them is I really need to try to get as much rest and try to get some things done, and try to focus and try to somehow do the magical thing of adding more hours to a day, because it just doesn't seem like there's enough. And I've been trying to truly waste less hours, and it just seems the more things I'm doing to try to waste less hours, it seems like the day's just getting shorter and shorter, and there's not enough time. But that is also probably why, because I'm trying to accomplish so many things, and I'm not just sitting around bored trying to bide my time. I'm trying to really work on the things that need to be addressed. And when you do that and you find a meaning and you try to find a purpose to follow through and try to really focus on something, time will kind of really fly by, and you'll look down and you'll be like, well, I have no time left, and I really needed to work on this thing too, and this thing too, and problems will start arising, and these are lessons that, again, you can learn to try to cope with and figure out how to deal with all of these things throughout the day. Maybe you can make a schedule, figure out how to truly, 30 minutes here, 30 minutes here, 30 minutes here. That's something, a lesson I've learned, but not necessarily learned. It's a lesson I've thought about, but I've not really tried to fully apply by just really kind of time myself with the amount of hours and time I'm putting in towards something. So that's another thing I can try to really do. But like I said, thank you so much for following along to the podcast, episode 233. I'm your host, Scott. This is the Defining Discipline podcast. If you guys can, please give it a like, a subscribe, a follow, a share on our Facebook, our Instagram, our YouTube, our TikTok, and whatever podcast streaming platform you guys been following along and listening on. Other than that, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Like I said, again, the whole purpose of this podcast is to try to work on myself on an individual level to become the best possible version of myself. And in doing so, I hope that maybe I inspire other people to do just that. That is kind of the purpose of this podcast, and I really appreciate you guys for following along and listening, and I hope you guys get your daily discipline done today. Hope you get your donations in for this month's fundraiser, and I also hope you guys can click that share button because it would truly help out. So thank you so much for listening along and following to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'll see you guys tomorrow for episode 234. 234. It's unbelievable to think we're this far into the year, but we are. It's been flying by, and putting in the miles and putting in the work and loving every single day of it. All right, guys, thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow for episode 234, and until then, peace out and stay disciplined.